Hello. All right, I've got 3 o'clock. Actually, about a minute or two past. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate y'all being here again. We'll do our best to keep us on schedule. But having said that, I must tell you that in thinking through the process and working with Betsy and Marcia, wow, that's really, that's okay. I believe we need to expand the number of meetings to include insights from a lot of interesting data that is now available to us through the conference. And there are a multitude of these reports. And they're on all of the folks. Man, I'm wired up now. So these reports, some are quantitative data about the people that live in our, I'll just say our geographic area. And then there are some qualitative reports about the people that live in the area and how they live their lives. I've spent 2 weeks now, really longer, studying all of these reports, and I must say I think there's wonderful information in these reports that I think would be good for us to spend some time going through. And how I propose to Marcia and I and Betsy have spent a lot of time thinking about this is engaging some of you to read these reports and then share your interpretation of some of these data with the group. And in fact, we were thinking about having panel discussion where multiple of you can read particularly some of the qualitative type reports that are more impressionistic than just deterministic and hard numbers, and have a dialogue about the people in our community. And I think the reports are very insightful. But what this means, because it's not easy discussion and impressionistic, and everybody's going to interpret it maybe a little differently, it's going to take some time. I mean, we can't just pass them out and go, oh, okay, everybody read this. Okay, has everybody got it? Sure. Well, it's just not that easy. So what I'm proposing, and I will ask if this causes folks heartburn, because if it does, and we lose engagement, then we won't have done ourselves any good. But I believe, based on these reports, that we'll need 2 more sessions. So instead of being done in 5 sessions, it will take 7 sessions. And we'll insert 2 more after today. We'll finish our work today that we began in our last session. And then I'm going to reach out and ask you to participate on some of the sessions. In fact, if you want to volunteer, I think that would be wonderful too. They're really good reports. So having said that, this will then, rather than being finished in January, we would finish in March, because we would wait kind of a month in between each session. I think that's appropriate. So let me ask, and I know, I hope you don't think it's a bait and switch. Well, you told me 5, and now all of a sudden, it's 7 sessions. Believe me, I would not propose this if I didn't believe there's really strong merit to taking the additional time and understanding where we are and where our community is, particularly in the vast majority today. A very solid and sound research. So, thoughts. Concerns? Does anybody feel cheated or whatever by me changing the goal after I had kind of promised we'd be done with this in 5 sessions and by the first of the year?
I just don't think it'd be very thoughtful of us to object to having additional sessions when we have additional information available to us.
Okay. Other thoughts? I hear a go for it. Any concerns? I know it's a change. I know it's asking for 2 more Sunday afternoons, but I really do believe you'll find the information very interesting. I did.
Things change as new information arises, and it sounds like it would be very time-worthy to continue and cover that information. I'm for it.
Okay, thank you.
In this way, because we're going to have microphones and we're passing around, and that way we can hear each other better.
M? Looks like an M to me.
Testing. Okay.
All right. So we will proceed on, and I will redistribute the schedule, and we've added 2 more Sundays, one in February and one in March, and we'll just shift all the things that we were going to do. So we're not leaving anything out. We're adding some more information and detail. Yes.
I'm excited that I'm Marcia, by the way, Marcia Reed from the conference, layperson. I just am excited that some of you, and if not all of you, want to do this journey of getting to know who is in this general vicinity and who God intends you to bless, and how you can use these tools to find out more about these people. And I just want to say the conference spends a lot of money on the Mission Insight tool. When I say a lot of money, a lot of well-spent money on the Mission Insight tool to provide this resource to you. So it's coming back around to you so that you can discern God's call better. So I think you're going to find this information useful. And I just know that a few of you, if not more than that, like to get to understand these kinds of processes better. For those of you who are readers, I have a book up here that you might want to get to know. It's called See, Know, and Serve the People Within Your Reach by Thomas Bandy. And this actually explains the whole process of sight, gives you on quantitative and qualitative information and how that gets you to understand the people that he intends for you to bless. So that's just my little background.
All right. We ended our last session going through attributes of a high vitality congregation. And we were scoring ourselves on this. And I want to again encourage a lot of participation, because many of you that were here last time, is someone new this time? Oh gosh, several. Good. You'll pick it up pretty quickly, but I do want to strongly encourage everyone to engage, because as you saw, those of you that were here last time, listening to other perspectives at the end ended up changing people's mind. So it's, again, we all see the world through different eyes. We all see Trinity through different eyes, so we really want to get people engaged and share your thoughts. So with that, Steve, if you will, pull up the 6th, and it's baptized children and youth and adults often. So this is an attribute of a high vitality congregation. So think about that for a minute, and then when someone's ready to share, raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you very quickly. And we ask for your rating and why. Now, we could show you actual numbers. The reason we're not showing you real numbers at this point, which we will, is we need your perceptions. How do you view our church? Okay? Who wants to go first? Please.
Purely from observation of a year of attending, I would give it a 2.
A 2, okay.
Just by the actual number I have seen, and we've been here for most services. Now the youth, I'm not counting confirmation class.
Okay.
I'm going to clarify
Great.
that.
Who else? Britt.
Well, I would agree that it's probably low for adults. I'm thinking I've come here a number of years and maybe have seen one adult baptized, but I think we do a great job with infants of the congregation. So, but overall, because of the way the question reads, I would say the rating would be low.
So a number 3. Who else? Have a 2 and a 3. Other thoughts? Wait.
Well, I think it's probably more of a 4 or 5. I think that when it comes to the children and what we're going through now we're going to sit down with Betsy, and I think it's a serious conversation we have about it. And but also I haven't seen any youth or adults since I've been here in 4 years. So I'd say a 4 or 5 though, 5, because they do take it serious with the children.
Well, I heard him say 5 more times than 4, so Susan will record that as a 5. Who else? Anyone else? Anyone want to take a contrary view? Lower or higher? All right, so I heard a 2 and a 3 and a 5. So let's begin with the 3. How many would agree with a rating of 3? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. How many would agree with a 2? Raise your hand. And how many with a 5? It's about a third, and a third. So we'll show it that way, pretty evenly split. All right, we're going quick now. I've figured it out. The next, have small groups or life groups that are based on spiritual disciple formation. And I will include our Sunday school classes in this, okay? So have small groups or life groups. I'm not sure what a life group is, although I guess my kids have groups of friends that they would call life groups. But based on spiritual disciple formation. So 1 through 10, where are we as a church? Well, but we got people streaming, so without a microphone, it's hard to pick you up.
Okay. Well, this is Bob. I've been involved in a lot of different congregations over the last few years for my youth. And I would say that probably Trinity does as well as any congregation I've been involved in since my college years. I'd give us a 7.
7, okay, great.
I'm Adam. I think I would agree with Bob that Trinity, of all the churches I've been a part of, does Sunday school really well. I think Sunday school is adult Sunday school in particular is super strong here. But the part of the question that I'm fixated on is spiritual disciple formation. And even though we do, I think, Sunday school well, I don't know how well those two themes are worked into the Sunday school. I would be, I think that adult education, we could do better with our spiritual and disciple formation. I don't know that I'd go as high as Bob. I'd probably say a 5 or a 6, 5.
Okay, others? Please.
I think one of the concerns about that is that when new people come, visitors or who are people that are not joined, we know if we can get them into the Sunday school classes that they really become a part of the church. But somehow they slip through unless they are really inclined to want to be a part of a Sunday school class, and we need to strengthen that part of our service to those who come here.
Okay, so a score.
I give it a 6.
He says a 6. Others?
Well, obviously, I think the Sunday school program is a strong part of what we do, and I hope that in the adult Sunday school class, we're doing spiritual and disciple formation. But in addition to that, we've got a number of groups that meet. There's women's Bible study, there's a men's group that meets on Tuesday morning, there's special interest groups that meet periodically throughout the time. We've got some new study groups going at night. I mean, we have lots and lots and lots of opportunity, particularly for adults to meet. Now, maybe there could be more, but there seems to be, in my opinion, a strong piece of that, and I think we need to give ourselves credit for that. So, I'd say we're 8 or a 9.
8 or 9?
8 or 9.
Would you pick one?
8.
An 8. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Paul Egan. I would agree with an 8. We're brand new. First, we were very impressed with the number of groups there were to research. Found it very easy and join one. So I was very impressed with how strong the adult Sunday school and small groups were, or are.
So
8.
An 8. So how about a choir member? Does anybody think the choir is a group for spiritual and disciple formation?
Well, I have the microphone and I would say yes. But the one area that I think that we don't do so well on that is young professionals in the age range of post-college to around 30, especially the single and newly married. We're trying to work on that, but I think that's a weakness we have here that we need to do something about. So I would say 6.
6. Please.
I'd say let's don't sell ourselves short. We have an increasing number of these groups being formed, and we have some momentum. And I would say that we're in better shape than we might think for. And I would say that we're at about an 8.
Okay. Other thoughts?
I'm Doug, and I would give us an 8. I think the small groups at this church are vital and just dynamic and do an excellent job. The challenge that we're faced with, though, is what's the expectation? What does it mean to be based on spiritual and domestic disciple formation and that's really outreach. We're supposed to make disciples of Christ. So the choir, Sunday school classes, all of the men's groups, etc., a primary expectation should be to get a message out and to draw new people in. And I'd have to say, based on that perception, we're a 2. So we do what we do really, really well, but it's so hard out to invite people to come and join us. And I'd say an 8. But we haven't defined what our expectation is, so we do what we do really well. Let's define our expectation for spiritual and disciple formation.
I would give us an 8 also, because I think we need to remember we start out with excellent programs, even with the 2-year-olds. So we get them right in on spiritual formation through the Sunday school classes and from Bible school. Now, we may not be equally successful all along the way, as Betsy pointed out with some age groups, but I think we've got both ends covered, and just to leave room for improvement, I would also give us an 8.
An 8. Other thoughts?
I think that we have multiple and excellent opportunities with all different age groups. The only fall down I see is personal contact from members of these groups to visitors or prospective visitors in the community. Because many times, for instance, the choir, somebody may have never attended church before, but they love to sing. They may love for their children to come and sing in the children's choir. They may not realize that their little ones could have a very, very special place in this church, and that we would not put obligations on the parents except to get them here or allow us to get those precious ones here, because the children will influence their parents. The parents who have never set a foot in a church will grow with their little ones. I've seen it. Good. And it is so special. That's one thing Bible school does many, many times, because friends bring friends. And their parents come with the other parents.
Great.
Okay.
And so score, where do you think we are?
The score I give, I don't know how to give it. A 5, because we have everything available, but how do you get people to really, that don't just walk in and join and seek out the groups that we have? How do you get them here to enjoy those groups? So I give it a 5.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the way I see that, Tricia Goodson, the way I see that question, it's only whether or not we have them. I'm looking at the question, it doesn't address how well attended are they, it doesn't address what the quality of the curriculum is or anything else. It simply addresses, do we have them? And so if indeed that's all we're addressing in this question, then the other things we've been talking about are like another question, another perhaps concern. And I would give us an 8 easily on having the small groups. I think they're really available. Now, and, getting more people to come and all that, in my opinion, is a different question.
That's why we're having the discussion. Everybody interprets a little bit differently. That's good. Other thoughts? Anything that you're feeling or thinking about this that you haven't heard? All right, Susan, help me out, because I heard all kinds. Mostly 8s. So how many think we're an 8 in this category? Quite a few. 6s. Okay, let's show 1/3. What's going to happen after we finish and after we hit all the metric data, we're going to come back and look at these and see if we still agree where we're at. All right, next. Enjoy vital worship in a variety of settings. Enjoy vital worship in a variety of settings. Thoughts? I'm sorry? Well, I mean, so we're trying not to specifically define these. You share your thoughts, and you're free to interpret it however you want, and come up with a score on yours. It's kind of like the last question. People interpreted it different ways. I said, well, yeah, we've got programs, but I'm not going to give us a 10 just because we got them. There's a quality aspect as well. So in your view, do we